when our kids are still young, it's really easy for us to shower with them with kisses, love, and little acts of kindness. But as they get a little bit older, things start to change. Or do they, right? What we may not realize is that it's in the little gestures that we are able to show our kids that we love them and that we care for them. So I'm Danita Rose, and good morning to each and every one of you watching right now. With me today to tackle this topic are three beautiful moms who are going to be sharing the spotlight. First, of course, is my dear friend, Rica Peralejo Bonifacio now, who is an author and host. And next is Andy Manzano Reyes, who's also a host and a DJ. And third is Shari Pokis, the blogger behind the Misty Mom. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
Hi,
And happy belated Mother's Day,
correct.
right?
Yeah. To all of us.
Yes, yes. Okay, so first question is, how would you describe your bond with your children? Children. Maybe Shari first, since she has two kids, right?
So with my daughter, I breastfed her for a year. So I can say, I'd like to think we're very close, kasi we're very open to each other. I want her to tell me everything. Like, you know, now she's starting school. Gusto ko malaman, like, her friends, you know. I want to know what she did. I want to know what she did, again. So, yeah, we're very open. We talk about everything and anything. So,
how old is she now?
She's 4. She just turned 4 this year.
Okay, and then your second one is?
Is 10 months old.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a boy.
It's a boy.
So his name is Tristan. Okay. So what about him? How do you show him?
With Celine, I was just starting my blog then. I was very, very focused. Like, I was hands-on now. Kasi with Tristan, like, I do work, and on the side, I have to write. I have everything going on, everything else going on. So there's this feeling of being guilty sometimes because I can't tend to him as much as I did with Celine. But yeah, I still breastfeed din kasi. So we still have that bond. So every time I feed, that's when I feel now we're most connected. So I disconnect when we're feeding. So yeah.
That's amazing. At 10 months, you're still breastfeeding. That's quite a feat.
I did 1 year with my daughter.
That's
so,
amazing. Yeah. I could only last 7.5 months nung nagkangipin na. Hindi ko na kaya.
Shift na tayo.
Ikaw, Andy.
Me naman, when it comes to, like, since we're talking about breastfeeding, I breastfed Olivia till she was 2. So, so when it was just a couple of months ago, and I really got emotional about this, because you remember, diba? Like, when you're breastfeeding, there's really that connection. Like, they need you, and you know that they keep looking for you. So now that she's not breastfeeding, she's just running everywhere, and I'm like, what happened? Like, why are we not this close anymore? But of course, we substitute it with something else. Like, we hug more, we're more malambing, we're very vocal about how we feel. And, you know, I guess as she's grown, we find more ways to just show them that, you know, we love them.
Oh, ikaw naman, Rica.
Yes, happy Danita. No, for us, I'd like to think that we have a very good relationship. We're very, very close. Like, the two of them, I breastfed. Philip, ako rin, umabot ng 2 years. And honestly, I have to confess, ako yung may ayaw mag-stop. Hindi yung bata, you know. Kasi, you know, I mean, like, at one point, you'll have to win. And it was very, very hard for me to do that. Because I loved, like what Andy was saying, those moments are special. But then you also have to, there's that, yung naglalaban na feeling within a mom na you want to keep them, but you know that there are also arrows in your hand that you have to aim them and shoot them into whatever God has called them to be. So parang in your heart, I want to keep my child, but I also have to work on making him independent, right? So there's always that tension that I guess we'll feel as moms.
I feel like such a bad mom because at 7.5 months, when he started biting, I was like, okay, that's enough. I'm done. I did my part, you know. But you know, with the affection part, my story with my son is a little bit backward. When he was young, he didn't really like affection. Like, every time I would try to hug him, he's like, get off. But as he got older, for some reason, I guess maybe because I was always an affectionate person, he started, becoming more affectionate. So now, at 12 years old, he's really, really super affectionate.
Oh, wow,
Laging
really?
nakapulupot sa akin. So,
Ay, that's so encouraging for us.
yeah. So, it was a very surprising thing for me to look back and to think, oh my gosh, how did this evolve? So anyway, speaking of evolving, how do you think you guys, because your kids are still very young, right? As they get older, we also have to evolve in terms of our parenting skills and techniques. How do you guys intend to evolve?
Sherry has more
Yeah.
experience.
Yes. When Celine was little, like 1 to 2 years old, I wasn't really that strict, but I was firm na. Like, I wanted to shower her with all the love and the affection, but then I also, because now we have this, di ba, millennials, we have this, they think we're entitled, because our parents worked hard to give us everything that we want, and parang we feel now we just don't need to work, we don't need the work anymore. So, yun, parang I just don't want my daughter to feel na I am so lenient on her, So, ako, especially when she was 3 to 4 now she's 4, where she's challenging me na, she knows na she can say no, she can defy me, we're starting. I have to show her tough love. So that's how I evolve. So, it's so hard that you have to strike a balance. You have to find the balance of showering her with so much love, but also, drawing a line and instilling discipline. So yeah, that's, I said nga, I was joking when I was young, I told my mom, "You're so strict, mommy. Like, I can't have sleepovers. Bakit hindi pwede? Why?" Because I said, I'm a mom. Ganyan, hindi pwede, no. And I told myself, I'm not gonna be like my mom. I'm gonna be a cool mom. Nako, and like, now she's just 4, pero mas strict pa ako sa mom ko, when it comes to her. So, I think, evolving, it's not just changing the way, changing, I wanted to change my mom's way of parenting, but really, I'm actually becoming like her, So,
I think all of us are, right?
Yeah.
I am my mom.
So there.
Ikaw, Andy.
Me, well, my daughter's still young, but it's her character and personality slowly coming out. Like, when I say no, she still does it. She's at that stage now where she's also testing me and my patience, because sometimes you're just like, sarap batukan, diba? But you just have to be patient and say, okay, I have to show her that, or there's a way of disciplining the person, diba? You can't just like spank or you can't just shout. But this one I'm also learning the way of disciplining in a loving way.
Yes.
And having that smooth and gentle voice, right?
As much
as possible, because it's really like, Olivia, don't do it. But deep down you're just like, why did you break this? So I'm also still learning like the art of, I guess, disciplining also.
Yeah. Actually, you said a couple of really good key points, because I kind of did a little bit of research on discipline, the word discipline. And discipline isn't necessarily like spanking or giving them a punishment. Back in the day, when my parents would say, it's time for a discipline, that was spanking in the back room. That was But discipline is actually to correct a wrong. And so when you say, gentle, we can sometimes, it can sound counterintuitive, but if you rebuke or correct or discipline, you're actually showing them love. And it really just takes firmness to be able to say no, but you can do it in love, and they'll only understand as they get older.
In connection to what you're saying, because the question was about parenting, evolving. I think Philip is just 3 years old, but I do see the need for more time. Discipline is a whole lot of time.
Yeah.
Not like before, kasi parang paluin ka lang. That's it. You're wrong, you get a spanking, and that's done. But now that we have more information, you get to realize that discipline takes more than that. So sometimes it takes hours, and you're thinking, I still have so much to do. And the older they grow, parang, the more time.
Yes.
The more time.
That's true. They learn to reason with you. they learn
Nagtatampo
to
na
assert.
sila.
Oo, may
Diba?
tampo na.
I'm sure.
Yes.
You have a
Yun,
12-year-old.
Diba,
Yeah.
parang patanda ng patanda, pahaba ng pahaba yung oras, and you're thinking, time is short. You have a lot of things to do, but then at the end of the day, you choose to... That's when I realized that discipline is love, eh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it takes a whole lot of time from you to discipline someone. Then you must really love that person to actually pursue the discipline that your child needs.
Yeah.
And I really also liked what you said about it takes a lot of time after. So after you
Yeah.
correct them, you have to even invest more time in telling them why it was
Why.
wrong. But the next time around, it will take less time because they already know what you're gonna say. And sometimes, like with my son, he has this tendency to, I guess maybe like preempt or like judge me already. Like if I had said it the previous time and he does it again, he'll say, I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say that the Bible says this and this again. So he knows medyo intellectual.
future natin.
We see it.
Yeah. So we also have to constantly evolve in terms of like education and keeping up to date with like good parenting techniques and skills that parang so we're like one step ahead of them. So sometimes when he not naman sarcastic, but it's sort of like he's sort of intellectually starting to work his way up and think that he can not really outsmart me, but kind of level up with me. Then I throw him another curveball of something different, and he was like, "You're so smart, Mom. I can never outsmart you." So, I guess we just always have to be on our toes with that. But really, the baseline of everything that we do and our motivation is always love. And our kids will see that.
Totoo yan.
Even if we're upset, and let's say we have to, let's say they end up crying, at the end of the day, they're going to come running back to us with wanting that affection again, knowing because we love them.
And I think that's why touch is important, no? Because I
Yes.
don't think you can fake a touch.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm sure your kids also feel, di ba, na when you touch them and then parang medyo stressed ka or tensed ka or galit ka, nako-communicate mo yan through your touch, eh.
What are your cheesy type of moments with your kids? Like, for example, in my case, my son really specifically asks for tickle torture. So when he feels stressed out or when he feels like he wants to reconnect with me, I mean, aside from the usual like hugs and kisses, he'll say, "Mom, tickle time, tickle torture now." So we go to the that's his ano kasi.
And he's how tall?
He's up to here.
Ayan,
Okay.
ganyan.
And then so we have like specific things that we do, like the pillow is a rock, so he's not allowed to move. So we have all these like different types of tickle tortures that are very, very important to him. Like to me, they're not important. We could just hug, but for him, tickle torture is so important. So that's my cheesy mom moment with my son. So what about you guys? You guys have something?
For me, I think it started when she was like 1.5. That we would have this routine at night all the time. That every night I would always have to read her a book. She would grab a book in her bookshelf. She would choose the book, and we would go to bed. And after we read a book, I'll close the lights, and she would always say, "Mommy, pray." And it's so cute, and I was like, what? Like, like when you have a kid, it's a dream that, your kid knows how to pray and all that.
Exactly,
So
oo.
she's the one who's actually initiating it. So she was like, "Mommy, pray." And she would lead the prayer. And whoever she remembered that day or whoever
would
she met,
pray.
she would pray for them. And after that, of course, you have your cuddle time, and she would maybe say, "I love you," maybe like 20 times. So she falls asleep. So she's really so sweet. And this happens every night. So for me, like, I have to come home, I have to tuck her in. And if there's a night that I don't, I feel so guilty. Like, I just want to go home right away and wake her up.
Kaya pala blooming si Andy. Kasi punong-puno ng pagmamahal sa bahay. Ikaw, Shari.
The little things, but we also have our night routine. Yeah, we have our prayer also at night, and they're the same, man. Ito ako you're sharing it. Celine is also like that, and she remembers everyone in the house, our help. She prays for them, ganyan. So, and she really loves to hug. As in, just last night she couldn't sleep, Mom, hug me, please. I can't sleep. I was breastfeeding my baby. But can I hug you after? I promise I'll hug you after. Okay, Mom, I'll wait. And then she'll wait. Yun pa. Like, I'm so proud of, na she knows na how to wait. Kasi, you know, when kids, always, diba? Parang, Mom, please do it now. Now she knows how to wait. Ever since she had her brother. So, she was waiting. And then, I finished breastfeeding. She fell asleep na. So, parang ako, oh my God. And then I just hugged her after. So, yeah. Those are the things.
Ako, cheesy kami everyday. Talagang mahag. Na-confess na no? Parang mahag kami, makiss. Pero I guess my favorite is, may times yun biglang sasabihin niya sa akin na, Mama, can you sing You Are My Sunshine? Because I would sing that to him. And you can see naman on the face of the child if it communicates something very sweet to them or something very, yung emotion nagta-transcend, right? And you can see it in their faces. And I know that this one is like a Mama and Philip thing. So I would sing it, You Are My, and then he goes, Sunshine, my only sunshine. Ganon. So, ako yung naiiyak, syempre. Siya okay lang.
Well, you know, my son is a little bit older than your kids, but just to encourage you that at 12 years old, so far, he's still at that stage where those bonding moments, hinahanap niya araw-araw. So like, pagdating like, let's say yung, of course, I think for most of us, a lot of the bonding is at night, at bedtime, right? We tuck them in. So it's already routine na if I don't do it, he will remind me, Mommy, cuddles, or don't forget to pray, or like siya yung maglilid ng prayer. So even at 12 years old, they really develop that habit. And when they don't get it, they feel may kulang. So napaka-importante yung role natin as parents to, you know, not just the words of affection, telling them that we love them, but also showing them in different ways, whether it's serving them food or touch or
that's true, huh? Yeah. Food is it's a love language. It should be the sixth. Kasi diba may time, may sabi ko, anong love language ng anak mo? Food.
Actually, ako rin.
Because he really likes food.
Yeah. Well, speaking of food, what are some of the favorite dishes of your kids that they feel na, oh, this is Mommy loves me. When I make this for my kid, Mommy loves me.
Dami, no? Hindi na makasalita kasi ang dami. How about you?
My daughter loves pasta. Actually, so...
Same! Lahat ng kids yata, di ba? They go through a pasta phase.
And she loves it with lots and lots of cheese. Really, as in, sometimes, like during Tristan's christening, there's we have a cheese, parang a salad bar with cheese. She took the whole cheese and she just ate the cheese, ganon. Ganon siya. Like my friends were laughing because kinakain lang niya yung cheese there. So, even without the pasta. But really, her favorite is pasta. So, pag sa bahay, kasi I tell her, no, you eat what's on the table. But Mom, I want pasta. No, you have to eat what's on the table. So, sanay siya to eat everything, right? One of the things I do when I'm out for a work event, I go home and I bring her pasalubong. It's pasta.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So pasta.
Actually, me also. Olivia is a pasta girl. Like, I'm slowly trying to introduce her to rice, but she still runs to pasta all the time. And her favorite is the carbonara pasta I make. And it's with cheese. So everything with cream and cheese, and I just put whatever I want inside, whether it's broccoli or like ham or whatever. Yeah. Of course, you have to hide it in the pasta, right? Because if it's there, they won't touch it. So I mix everything with pasta, and then that's her lunch. And then Mariana, she'll always ask for like a grilled cheese sandwich. And there's a recipe there. You have to make it pisa.
Okay.
You have to make it pisa. Why am I sharing the recipe? No, but parang butter, and then you make it pisa. Because sometimes, butter, kasi para it's tasty in the toast, and then you make it pisa. Because kids like it thin, diba? So when it's thin, it's cheesy. It's really good.
Wow. Yeah, and it's melting in the middle.
Yeah, see, super.
I'll give you naman a tip.
Go.
Yung broccoli, sabihin mo, you're eating a tree.
You're
so I tell Philip, I'm eating a tree. No, but for us, nakakatawa kaming dalawa kasi, syempre, di ba, food is so personal. Like, there are ways that you eat, say, a chicken that's different from the way that your husband is eating it. Now, Philip and I share a lot of like common things about food. Specifically, okay, one is, my husband is not ma-ketchup. Kaming dalawa,
Maketcha.
Oo, yung isang bote namin, 2 days lang. Sobrang kami, okay, ganyan. Tapos when we go for like peri-peri chicken, it's like all of the sauces, ubos na yung manok. Ganyan pa rin kami ng ganyan ng dalawa. And cheese. I am not kidding about the cheese. Yun, love language talaga. When we have kamote, so we mix it with our kamote or pasta. When I grate it, for him it's like, ganyan na siya sa akin. Tapos parang gusto niya na rin mag-grate. So pinapa-grate ko siya, but his hands are still too small eh. Pero that's one parang food ritual that makes it to parang bonding moment namin.
Well, for my son, he really, really loves...
You're a good... She's a chef.
I know.
Well, there's a long list of stuff, but there are 4 things that are like really his favorites. First would be buffalo wings. So he really likes it spicy, and he can just order like 1 whole serving to him. If you take 1, he'll start putting the rest on his plate. In other words, don't take it, it's mine. Also sushi, he loves salmon sushi. And then pasta, he loves the bolognese that I make with a lot of cheese on it, and grilled cheese sandwiches. So whenever I make those for him, alam na niya na, oy, naglalambing si mommy. Or kapag sasabihin niya, Mom, can you make me buffalo wings? Wow, was it that bad of a day today? So alam ko na pag medyo...
You know what? I also want to share kasi I'm not a good cook. I mean, I don't like it. I don't like doing it very much. But for some reason, because of Philip, I'm learning, and I'm learning to love it as well. Pero ganun pala yun, no? Parang you're having a child pushes you talaga to do things that are out of the box for you.
I'm the same with you. I don't like to cook, pero since Celine, she loves to eat. She loves seeing how it's done, you know.
And they like joining in.
Yeah, they like
also.
joining in. So even like making pasta, kahit na to just stir it.
Exactly.
I let her do it because she likes it, and then after she'll say yun talaga yung parang, oh my God, Mom, you're the best cooker in the world.
I know, right?
Kahit na ganyan lang, corned beef lang.
Fried egg lang pala. Best fried
Yeah,
egg
so parang
in
it
the
pushes you to really
Well,
want to cook.
definitely when we cook for our loved ones and we see them enjoying what they eat, talagang sulit lahat ng pagod natin. And at the same time, it's, in a sense, kind of like breastfeeding. You know, we know that they're getting the nutrition and nourishment that their body needs, diba? So, ayun. Well, when we do eat, we also do a lot of bonding and talking, right? Is there any particular situation where, you know, maybe over a meal, you've had a very deep conversation or a moment that there was like an aha moment with your kid?
3 years old? Parang planets pa lang yung gusto niya malaman. Ano ba? But I do believe that meals are important. We've started a practice in our home to like not have phones while you're eating.
Yes.
Because it really allows for a lot of quality conversations nga. And I mean, what are quality conversations for a 3-year-old at least, right? So, I mean, that's just basically letting him talk. So, at the dinner table, minsan, we forget it. Kasi, di ba, he's small. So, my husband and I, like, okay, kwento-kwento about our day. And then he's like, can you stop talking? And we're like, okay, why? I want to talk.
Wow.
Okay. So, kasi di ba parang trying, like what you were saying earlier, 3, they begin to assert themselves. So, parang, we're learning na this guy now wants to be a part of the conversation. It's no longer just eating, I'm using you because I want to eat.
Yes.
Now it's really being a part of the family.
Yes.
Yeah, where they try to be part and like strike a conversation.
Yeah.
Or minsan nagpapapansin sila.
I know.
Diba? Or like kunyari, they'll make something fall off the floor. It's like, oh, Olivia, what happened? Or, you know, hindi pala, but they just want to be part of it. And I think like one thing also, I want, like you were saying, diba, like no phones, and we're trying to do that also in our household. But when I grew up, growing up, I'm trying to explain myself. I know.
You haven't grown up yet?
No, but when I was growing up, we lived in a big compound. And we were like maybe like 20 people in the whole house. So my cousins, my titos.
That's how I grew up also.
Diba? And so we would always have a time to eat. So 12 o'clock, sakto, that's when you eat. 7 o'clock, sakto, that's when you eat dinner. So people, they would know and adjust to the time already. So we would all gather together it's either you leave after lunch, diba, or you be home for dinner. So I think that's what I want
Yes,
also. Para
agree.
they know what time to be home and they know what time is the eating time.
I agree.
Diba?
It used to be that you had to be home before dark for
Yeah.
dinner,
Yes,
diba?
yes.
But now it's parang they end up just putting the food on the table and then bahala ka
Bahala
lang
ka na lang,
kumuha,
yeah.
diba? But that's
correct.
actually tradition is really important in
I agree.
raising a family, and especially with kids, because it's something that will, stay ingrained in their memory forever. And as they grow up, they will also pass that on to their children.
And what will they look forward to when they go home, right? I mean, if you don't have traditions in place, like routines like that, like
Yeah.
what you were saying, it makes you look forward to going home, eh. So parang you're just pushing them away if you don't have anything in place.
Yeah. And they also feel like, when there's tradition, you feel, in a sense, you feel more secure, knowing that there's a bond, a special bond that you have within you
Totoo
that's
yan.
very unique to your own family.
And it's comfort, di ba? Parang kaya nga may comfort food eh.
Oo.
Parang when, di ba, when your mom cooks this, parang kami, alam na namin, may birthday, I sure may spaghetti. Spaghetti ni Daday. Ganon yung tawag namin. Oo.
So, okay, like in my case, there was a time that, one time we went to church and we used to hold hands. Then he told me, Mom, can we not hold hands anymore? So ako naman, I was ready for it. I mean, there was one tear.
I was ready for it. Kaya namamagana yung mata mo.
And then he said, yeah, and maybe don't kiss me when you pick me up from kids' church. So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool, And then after like 2 weeks, when I picked him up, he held my hand and then kissed me. And then I said, well, what's going on? I thought you said no more. And he said, I'm over it. So
That was fast. 2
yeah,
weeks.
2 weeks. So, but I was like, yes, thank you. No, but like, as the kids get older, they go through these phases of, they'll shy away, or maybe they start to become more conscious and they're not as open as they used to be. So sometimes my son now has a tendency to not really open up right away. Like before, when he would come home from school, Mom, I'm so mad at so-and-so, my classmate, he did this and that. Now, I really have to wait for him to say something. Because if I say, how was your day at school? He'll say, it was good. So that's kind of like our joke. How was school? Let me guess. It was good. But what he wants is that, you spend more time with him. And then later, when you're not even asking or waiting for the answer, he's like, Mom, this is what happened at school. So that's sort of like my way of dealing with my son, growing up and evolving and shying away.
Yeah.
So how do you guys, how do you think, or maybe what would you say is a good tip on kind of like bringing our kids back and reminding them, hey, we're here for you. I'm here for you. Don't be afraid to tell me anything.
For me, that's so important. Like there are studies, right, that show that even if you can provide the more physical things, a good education, a house, everything, if emotionally, he is not, or your child isn't emotionally developed, it means and when he grows up, he might have development issues, like when he's an adult na, he might not be able to be intimate, parang ganon. So, like it's EQ, developing your child's EQ, and that for me, that is what I want to develop talaga with my kids. So right now with Celine, she's only 4, but I make sure that we talk about feelings.
Yes.
Right? Every time I see her, like she's happy. When she's happy, I ask her, how do you feel? Mom, I'm happy. Why are you happy? And then she tells me, diba? And then when I see na she's a bit sad, ganyan, parang, oh, Celine, how are you feeling? She'll say, I think I'm sad, Mom. Ganyan. So why are you sad? And then she'll say it. So, every time, I want to develop in her how to detect feelings so that she'll also develop it, like empathy, like also feeling other people's feelings, parang ganon. So at this point in time, we just really are open about talking about feelings. When she's angry, we talk about it. Ako rin, when I'm angry, sometimes I snap. I tell her after the dust has settled, parang Celine, I got angry. I'm sorry. So yun, really just kasi growing up, we weren't so open about feelings. Parang we didn't really talk about it. So now that's what I want to develop with her. Yeah.
That's really good. And to acknowledge the fact that because a lot of people don't know about EQ and AQ and stuff like that. Most people know about IQ, but AQ would be adversity quotient, EQ is emotional quotient. And that's true. Like when I was growing up, we never talked about feelings, you know. So when I first got into a relationship, I didn't really know how to like express my feelings. So yeah, I think it's really good that you're able to kind of like take your kids through that process of what they're feeling. And sometimes like my son will say, I'm mad. And then I'll ask him, what kind of mad? Is it like, are you frustrated? So medyo mag-expand yung vocabulary so that when they get older, they can actually pinpoint. So that's really good.
Well, you know, since you were talking about like kissing and hugging, I think for me, like since Olivia's still young, like, and she's very malambing, and I'm really happy she's malambing. Like even if even if you've played with her for like 30 minutes and you ask for a hug, she's gonna give you a hug. Like she would even hesitate.
But she do that to me.
Yeah.
But I brought her para matesting.
Remember the first time they met?
First time they met, hugged already. Celine. But I think for me, like as a daughter, because I live far away from my mom already, and you know how your moms, they run to your kids right away, and you're like, wait, how about me, right? So after my mom says hi to Olivia, and then she gives me a hug, and I haven't seen her in maybe like 2 weeks, it just feels so good. Like it's different. I mean I'm a mom already, but it's different when it's your mom, right? I mean, of course you get hugs from your husband and your friends, but when it's your mom and they just hug you so tight, and sometimes you just want to break down because you're like, maybe you're frustrated, or maybe parang you're just going through so much, or you're stressed, you're just like, Mom, I just need a hug. You know?
Oh, you're very sweet.
I super understand what you're saying, because recently something really just bad happened to me. So I had a miscarriage, and at that time I really was looking for, parang I just want to cry to all moms. Alam mo yun, yung moms who are older than you, parang every time you saw them, I wanna cry to you. Iba talaga yung nabibigay ng moms. But I also wonder, because I have a boy, I also wonder, parang will it be the same when he grows up? Because I'm a woman, I'm a girl, so I feel that way. But I wonder if it's the same process for boys, right? Like, yeah, I'm pretty encouraged with your story. But if it ever turns out that, you know, my boy is not anymore malambing at one point, I'm thinking, kasi what calls them back? What makes them stay? And I'm thinking, yeah, traditions can help if you have set them in place, values as well. But at the end of the day, it's a relationship.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
I think relationship is something that has to evolve. I mean, like there's a time for hugs and kisses, but there's also a time for this boy just wants to talk. This boy just wants to be with me. This boy just wants to blab all day and tell me maybe about his video games or his new sneakers. And it will be a whole lot of that, I think, for whether you have a boy or a girl, just listening to this person, to becoming his or her own person. And I think when you give them that, and they don't ever find this anywhere else, they're gonna keep coming back. Of course, you don't want to take care of them 30, 40 years old, di ka pa rin nagpapakain. That's not naman your goal. But the relationship is something that you can keep for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, I think that with my son, because we've also been through a lot emotionally, just always reassuring him that there is no wrong answer is something that I find really important in our relationship. So if he has struggles in his life, let's say, I don't want to be like too public about certain things, but the things that he wouldn't normally tell anybody else, he will still tell me, and he's not ashamed to tell me. Or if he's ashamed, you know, he's like, oh, Mom, you know. But still he's at that point where he's still not quite ashamed yet, because he knows that with me, I will support him no matter what he does. So I have to actually tell him, you know, even if one day you end up going to jail for some grave crime, I will still always love you. The love will never lessen. So he has to have that reassurance that even if he makes mistakes in life, hindi nababawasan yung pagmamahal. So, well, your kids are still really young to me. That's medyo malalim na.
I mean, if you're a mom, you can't help it. You fast forward.
That's true.
I mean, there are times when I'm I'm in bed and I'm thinking, oh, my son is one day gonna be this age. My son is one day going to find the love of his life. Alam mo yan, you can't help it eh. You're getting there.
I can't imagine having teenage kids. Like, malayo pa tayo doon.
Malayo pa.
Pero before love affairs, I think the biggest struggle is love affairs with gadgets. Yan yung struggle ko talaga na, I think, who said now, no gadgets at the table, right, Andy?
Yeah.
So, I think that's one stage that they'll get to first, so that you guys don't have to worry about the love lives yet.
Yeah, I know. I mean, when they get engrossed in something, no? I mean, it doesn't have to be gadgets, but if they get into something, baka nga makalimutan ka for a season.
Eh, kasi ngayon may mga video game consoles, you have like pads, you have the laptops, you have TV, you have... It's really tough because you're going to be vying for their time a lot. But I think that we also need to moderate them so that they know that it's important that if mommy's around, just because mommy is around all the time, doesn't mean you shouldn't value my time as well. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that because, you know, in parenting, I think one of the big issues today is technology and fighting for their time. Yeah. So anyway, you know, we talked about being having careers and stuff like that. How are you guys able to balance, you know, work life, home life, and parenting?
Is there such a thing? Yeah, I think that's a wrong thing to, personally, I'm not saying that's the correct way to look at things, but I've stopped telling myself that I can balance because I just can't. Something will really give in one season, another season, another thing. So parang there's no such thing, and there are only choices for me. So you either choose this or you choose that. Either way, you're letting go of something. So parang in order for you to have that balanced life, you have to let go of some things that are really not important for you. So if, like, let's say, if you have a career and motherhood ka na lang talaga, parang nothing else in between. Parang that's only for me, ha. I'm not saying that's a general, like, not an advice for everybody.
And, sorry, go ahead.
Go to you.
You know, kasi now there are a lot of work-at-home moms, right? There's a rise of work-at-home moms. And I thought in the beginning, because I work at home, I focus on my blog, I have some side part-time gigs. Parang I thought it would be better because, I'm going to be there for my kids. Like, I'm at home, I can work, but I can also be there for them. Oh my gosh, it's so hard pala, guys. Like, most of the time, it's just I end up not being able to do anything, not being productive, not getting any work done, or I suffer like the mom guilt, like feeling like a worthless mom because my kids need me and I have to finish something.
Oh, wow.
So parang it really is a struggle every time. So most of the time, it's really, you know, juggling it, breastfeeding while I'm editing photos, reading to Celine, you know, and ganon. So I haven't found that balance yet, and maybe there is no balance, like Rika said, diba? Parang I don't know, like I still have to find it. So yeah.
I know. I think nobody really has a balanced life. I think everybody just learns, you know, throughout every season nga. Because sometimes it's your husband that has the needs or, you know, the issues that you have to deal with. Sometimes it's your mom or your family, or sometimes it's your daughter, or sometimes it could be work. So I guess it's just learning to evolve also with the situation. At the same time, learning your priorities in life, whether, you know, syempre, it's God, your husband, and in family. So you just have to know that structure and what's important and just focus on it. And then I believe everything will just be balanced. And
I agree. I'll just add to that. When she said priorities, it's very important that you have your priorities in place. So if ever you have to choose, you know which ones fall away.
Yeah.
And then you know which ones stay no matter what.
Yeah. Well, last year when I was kind of going through like the most difficult time in my personal life, I decided to take a break from the industry because I knew that my son needed a lot more time. So I decided to kind of more or less work from home and do blogs, and in that season, like you said, prioritizing, and I felt like it worked wonders for me. But I was also going to say that, you know, when in my son's younger years, I used to bring him with me to work and tapings and stuff like that, to expose him to
Yeah.
the kind of work that I do so that he's aware of what mommy does or how mommy is able to put food on the table. And also so that as he gets older, it's sort of like an educational experience for him. So now what I'm trying to do is to create video blogs of cooking from home, but involving,
Include him.
including him more.
Cute.
So because I'm able to teach him, like, let's say, knife skills. So he really cuts, like when we cook dinner at home, if he's done with his homework and whatever, he actually really cuts the vegetables and peels them and stuff.
Can
Yeah.
I send my son to your house?
Yeah.
Siya pala yung cooking school eh.
Well, he'll probably have a hand glove first, you know, yung
That's so cute.
so they don't get cut. But yeah, so the more that they realize certain techniques, I noticed with my son that the more you teach him, the more interested he gets.
Yes.
So that, in a way, has also evolved our relationship from not just segregating my career and my work life, but also integrating him into it and making it more cohesive. So anyway, speaking of parenting, is there any particular challenges that you have in parenting at the moment that you are working on? Nothing in particular?
You're always working on something.
Ako lang ba?
particular thing. It's, again, no, parang you're trying to strike that balance between being kind to yourself and also being truthful. Because there are moments talaga, like Sharina was saying that, I'm sorry I got angry. We're at that point where, since he turned 3, parang he's really testing me, and sometimes I flare up and then I get to shout, which, you know, I really don't want to do to my child. But then there was this one time that I did, and I saw his face, he really cried. Kasi parang na-hurt talaga siya na my voice was so loud like that. And I learned, buti na lang, parang God gave me the wisdom to do the right thing. And I pulled him and I said, that was wrong of me. That is not right. I'm so sorry. Can you forgive me? And I'm trying to learn that. Na parang, how do you not get to that point? And if ever you do, because you're not a perfect parent, how do you best go about it? That he won't be damaged forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, last 2 questions. Okay, the first one is, what is a not so good trait that you've picked up from your mom and you notice? And
Talaga matatanungin mo to? I-turn off mo muna yung
and the other one is also, what is a good trait that you've picked up from your mom?
Yung good na lang. Yung good na nga lang. Sino mo katabi ng nanay ko? Pakimute niyo muna. Laptop niya. Not so good trait.
Napaisip lahat eh. Okay, you can all turn off your...
For me, let me start.
Sige, go!
Sige na nga, wag na. No, but I think it's not really a bad trait, but my mom really just doesn't have time for herself. It's always giving time to others, making sure that everyone's okay. And, you know, the last person she thinks about... No, really, it's true. Like, the last thing she thinks about is herself.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like Mother's Day, said, Mom, can I take you to a spa? And she goes like, no, but I have to do this. And, like, I've been trying to, like, get a free schedule from her for 2 weeks already, and there's no time. Yeah, because parang my lola is actually in the ICU, so she visits my lola, and at the same time, she runs a business. She has 5 kids, so she manages everything. Diba, run a household. So she has really no time. So I think that's the only negative thing. But at the same time, it's also positive, right? So
Too much.
But do you think that you've developed that habit as well, in a sense, or?
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Because I enjoy it. It's not it's not like, shucks, I have to give time, or shucks, I have to do this. It's just more because I'm happy and I freely give my time, diba?
Okay.
Shari.
My mom.
Okay, I'm pretty pressured.
I don't know if this is something I've picked up, but I want to pick it up. But in a sense, I don't know if it's bad, because Okay, anyway, she's a
Dami
clean...
ko
Anyway,
Let me say it.
disclaimer, she's a clean freak. Like, she really wants everything clean in the house. And ako kasi parang, the house isn't clean, I'm doing something. Basta the kids are fed, medyo magulo dyan, it's okay, you know? Like, we can, or dishes aren't done, we can do it later, ganyan. She wants everything clean. And, well, yeah, I think for me, that's a bad thing. Because, you know, mom, have time for other things. Like, ganun din kasi yung mom eh. She always wants to fix everything first before, like, herself. And, yun, I think that's a bad side of it. Yeah, like, cleaning is okay in a good, diba, in general. But, parang, if you focus on it first, and siya, parang, sometimes she gets so sick na because she cleans all the time, yun. So, she doesn't value, and she values cleaning over her health sometimes. So there.
Actually, I'm like that.
Ay, sobra.
Sobrang
Lahat
linis.
may labels pa.
Like,
oh
Can you
my
go to my
God.
house?
Yeah, sure, I would love to.
My house for me. She will
No,
do that.
are you serious?
Yeah.
Don't joke her. She's gonna go to your house and she's gonna scrub the floor. She's going to scrub the ceiling. Lahat. Totoo
You
yan.
organize your house.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I get that from my mom. So my mom is a perfectionist when it comes to her work. She would be the first person at work in the morning and the last one to go home at night, to a fault, to the point where she wasn't really at home for us kids. But now that she's actually at 69 years old, she's still teaching.
Wow.
She teaches grade school, preschool, I think this year. And she's still a perfectionist, but she's now realized that she wants to spend time with her grandkids. So the time that she didn't spend with us, she's now spending with her grandkids. And I'm super jealous. So anyway, lastly, as moms, what kind of advice can you give to parents out there, especially young parents who are, still learning the ways of parenting and
Yeah, because I know everything.
I'm
3 years old pa lang. No? Ano ba?
I'm still learning. We are
Oh,
all
yeah.
still learning. But, I think we just should get to know your kid. Like, listen to them. And not just verbally, you have to see their nonverbal cues. Like, sometimes, even if Celine says she's happy, ganyan, in her eyes are like, when she hugs me, ganyan, I know na she's feeling sad. So, it goes beyond the physical. It goes beyond, like, being able to provide it. You have to focus on your emotional connection with your child. And yeah, for me, that's what I'm focusing on now. Especially at this stage where she's developing her sense of self, how she sees the world, how she views other people. I want her to feel secure. And that's the most important thing for me.
that's awesome.
I think for me, like as a new mom, I think the advice I would give is like not to feel pressured with anything, especially now in social media. Everyone has so much to say, right?
Yeah.
And like, or whether it's your friends, and there are different kinds of moms nowadays. Like there are categories there are tiger moms, there are organic moms. There's just so much. Like they're categorized already. So for me, it's just relax, enjoy motherhood, enjoy every moment, I guess. I mean, 2 years old pa lang, but like, I'm already enjoying it. And again, just don't feel pressured. People will say stuff, but I feel like believe in yourself, know your instincts, and yeah, your motherly instincts, because I mean, everybody knows what's right and wrong naman.
Yeah. Similar. I'm so for what she said because social media, even like when I look at other moms, I'm like, I should be doing this. Philip should be doing this. Yung parang, sis, who ba? After a while, sino ba nagsabi? I'm just looking at my screen. So, a guard to what you see on your screens because you're a very different person, you have a very different family, and God has crafted a very different destiny for you. And I guess we're gonna have to make a lot of choices. When Philip turned 3 and I started looking for schools, napaparanoid ako na parang I might choose the wrong things for him.
Yeah.
And God just reminded me that it's not your parenting that will make or break him. I mean, a whole lot of it, yes, you will influence, it will shape him. But at the end of the day, if you can give him at least a relationship with you, the parents, a very good relationship with you and a very good relationship with God, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're going to have to make a lot of choices. But if those two you put in place, at least you'll know that your kid is going to be fine because we're not perfect. I mean, I don't think that I'll make all the correct choices for him. And one day I'll be sorry for all of these things. But I'll also be very grateful that at least he has a God that he can run to.
Yes, that's very well said. What she said. Well, for me, I would say that every child is different. So I could be giving someone the best piece of advice I've ever given my son, but it may not work for your child. So it's important that as mothers, we know exactly what our own child is going through, what their personalities are like, what their temperament is, and just to enjoy the process and to trust that at the end of the day, you know, our children are in his hands. Because the tendency is to really like overthink things and go, oh my gosh, you know, like what you said earlier. So, but motherhood, I really think, and I'm sure these beautiful ladies can agree with me that there's nothing quite like motherhood.
Oh,
no?
yeah.
It's really the best.
Yeah.
You know when they say before, na, you know, motherhood is, it's different. Everything will be worth it. Your moms are going to. Before, when I wasn't a mom yet, parang, you know, it just how? But when you're a mom,
You
oh my
do,
God,
you
you
feel
feel
it.
it.
And you
You
understand
cannot
everything.
understand it if
Yeah.
you're not a mom.
Yeah.
Diba?
There's nothing quite like motherhood. That's right. Well, ladies, it's been good. It's been fun. It's been real fun. I hope that we can do this again sometime in the future. It's been so much fun.
Thank
And we
you.
also
Thank
hope
you.
that you've enjoyed watching this with us today. Thank you so much.